Hi guys, this is Miss Jamie from the Twin Rivers branch, and today is another cooking video. I may have been inspired by Harry Potter. What else? I found a recipe in this book. Here, you can actually get this from our library too. It's called Pumpkin Pasties. And you may be thinking, Miss Jamie, what exactly is a pumpkin pasty? Well, pumpkin pasties are the sweet version of a pasty. And a pasty is traditionally an English hand pie made with meats instead of, pumpkin. So come with me on this magical journey into cooking and let's make some pasties. Perfect pie crusts. You will need 1.5 sticks of cold butter, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/3 cup vegetable shortening, very cold, and 1/2 cup of ice water. So to make this pie crust, we're going to be using a food processor. So to start, we're going to put our flour, our sugar, and some salt into the food processor. I'm going to make sure these are level too. 2. And 3. And we have our tablespoon of sugar. And a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to cover this up and blitz it for a couple seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next step is very important. You need to have very cold butter, very cold shortening, and very cold water. So let me go get those from my fridge. Shortening, butter, water. So we're going to add our butter pieces in. And our shortening. That's supposed to be cubed, but they all decide to stick together on me. And we're gonna pulse this in the food processor about 10 or 12 times. Is that right?
You want them to be little pea-sized chunks.
Yeah, the shortening and butter has to be little pea sized. Itty bitty.
That's why it has to be cold.
Yes. Get in there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the next part would be adding the water while it's going. We're gonna let it go and pour our water in a steady stream so it comes together
Into a ball.
to a ball. I think you can actually see it coming together in there.
Yep. Looks good.
Whoop. Yeah, looking good. Have a little bit more water. I'm gonna add it in there.
Wow.
Wow.
That came together perfectly.
Oh yes, I do like that. Oh,
This pie crust I've made a few times and it's never come together that well. But
must be magic. I know that was terrible.
Don't touch it with your hands. It has to be cold, right?
Alright, so we're gonna have to dump this out onto the counter.
Onto the counter.
It says floured board or counter.
Alright.
I'm gonna put flour down.
Okay.
And dump. Be careful of the blade, have a parent do that. And we don't want to handle it too much because of all that cold butter and shortening. And this is going to go into the fridge for 30 minutes.
I usually just put it directly on the cling wrap. That's why I was surprised. I guess I don't follow the directions.
Always follow the directions. Alright. Oh. So, while I'm waiting for my dough to chill in the fridge, this is a cat break. This is Weasley. He's our oldest cat. He's 15. I thought it would be a good idea to bring him into this video considering the theme of the video. Right, Weasel?
He just wants to go on the porch.
Yeah, he likes outside. You wanna go? Okay. For pumpkin pasty filling, you will need 2 cups of canned pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling, a half a cup of granulated sugar, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of allspice, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of ground cloves. So to make our filling, we're going to obviously need some canned pumpkin. Our canned pumpkin, we need 2 cups of, so I'm going to put that in. Measure that.
Got a new crew member.
Hmm?
Got a new crew member. Filming crew.
Hello, Chewy. No. Alright, that is 1 cup of pumpkin. We're not just making pumpkin pasties here because a certain somebody doesn't like pumpkin. Miss Kira, I'm talking about Miss Kira. So we're gonna make some extra ones for her that are cherry.
It's my payment.
Yes. For helping me with all these videos. And 2 cups of pumpkin. I really like pumpkin. Anyway, I feel like it should be known that I really like pumpkin.
You would have done really well at Hogwarts.
Probably. Especially if they're like do that pumpkin thing all year round. I'm here for it. Okay. We're gonna keep our spoon out. So, next step is 1/2 cup of sugar. And then for some pumpkin spice. You can just use the already made pumpkin spice, that's not an issue. But for me, I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Well, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. And 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger.
Smells like Colonial Williamsburg.
And we're gonna mix. And it should smell like pumpkin pie by the end of this.
With a hint of Colonial Williamsburg. It's that nutmeg.
It is that nutmeg. It smells like colonial times.
Yeah.
Alright. Here's our filling for these pasties. I'm excited already.
Make some coffee and then you have a pumpkin latte.
You could do that.
Pumpkin chai latte. Some chai tea.
Yeah, like just anything with pumpkin is good, honestly, if you ask me. But there are people who don't like pumpkin, and I respect that, but I'm not one of those people. So the next step is to roll out our dough and fill these pasties and bake them off. Our dough has been in the fridge for 30 minutes, and I'm going to powder my counter with flour before rolling it out so it doesn't stick to the counter.
And you're rolling.
And my rolling pin. it doesn't stick to the rolling pin.
I would cut it in two.
We're gonna cut this in two. Pound it out a little bit.
Good if you're stressed out.
Yeah. Alright.
If your mom tells you to stop hitting stuff, she won't tell you to stop hitting that.
Just gonna do this, and when I roll it out, it's going to be rolled to an 1/8 thick is what the recipe said, I believe. 1/8 of an inch.
Yes.
Haha. Good at remembering this, apparently. I made this recipe once before, several years ago, and it did not turn out the way I wanted it to. But I did not have as much cooking experience as I do now, which is probably a good thing.
What didn't you like about it last time?
I don't know what I did wrong, but it ended up being burnt, and they didn't look very pretty.
Did you use the recipe that comes with the book?
Yes.
For the dough?
For the dough, I followed the recipe from the book, and it wasn't as good as this dough recipe that we are doing today.
Which we've eaten in apple pie.
Yeah. Miss Kira is really good at making apple pie. It is awesome. When we have baked goods in this house, they're gone in like 24 hours. Not even. Maybe like 12.
Well, if it's bread, less than 12.
Yeah, that's gone in an hour at least. Oh no! I ripped my dough. It's fine, you can patch it back together. It's plied. It's fun that way. It's fine.
I think that's good.
Yeah. But I'm hoping these are going to be prettier than my last attempt. And I'm going to use a plate, small plate, just like this, to cut circles. Because we don't have cookie cutters that big. So have an adult or use a not as sharp knife to cut these circles out.
It's soft, so you can use a butter knife or a plastic knife.
Yeah, you can definitely use a butter or plastic knife for this part.
Or if you have a cookie cutter.
I'm gonna put these directly on my baking sheet. And you can even actually make these a little smaller, considering if you have a cookie cutter or a biscuit cutter. But we're gonna make these like decently sized hand pies. Because they're more this size in England if you're gonna get an actual pasty. And I just love me some pumpkin filling. Just carefully pulling up from the counter so I don't rip it again. And when you get like this, you're gonna roll it all out again. You don't want to waste this dough. It's very good.
Can I combine it with the other dough?
I'm going to take our other piece and work with it. And smack it. Again. So I realized after I made our filling, I forgot to add cinnamon to it, which is very important to the pumpkin spice mixture. So we're gonna do that right now.
Half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon. In you go. So then we're gonna start stuffing these lovely pasties. So when you stuff your pasties, you're going to do 2 or 3 spoonfuls of filling. Well, probably 3. Our circles are a little big. So we're gonna put that on.
I'm gonna fill it halfway.
But fill it halfway. And then we're gonna stretch our dough over and make like a half moon. So you get a nice little ham pie. But you should also have a little bit of water on your finger to keep it closed.
Would you like a bowl?
Yes, please. And you press down. And then you crimp it so it looks pretty with a fork. And also keep all that nice filling inside. And so our pasties don't explode in the oven. We're gonna do a little slit on top. Just 3 little vents for the steam to escape. Let's try to pick this up. Just like that. And we're gonna put that on our baking sheet. And we're gonna put a little bit of egg wash on it, which is basically just 1 egg and a little bit of milk. You can also make this with water. It's gonna make it all look nice and brown and very beautiful to eat, which is actually what I didn't do last time I did this.
It's shiny.
Make it nice and shiny. When you see those pies who have like nice golden brown shiny crust, this is usually why. So
you can sprinkle sugar on top if you want it.
You could do that. Oh, a nice cinnamon sugar would be nice on this too.
We have some in the cupboard.
So I'm gonna fill the rest of my pies and then I'll show you what's after that. Okay. And I'm gonna do the sprinkling of sugar, cinnamon sugar, because that did sound like a good idea.
Usually with cinnamon sugar, it's like 3 times as much sugar than cinnamon.
So these guys are going to go into my 400-degree oven for 30 minutes, and by the end of that, hopefully we'll have some pretty looking pumpkin pasties. So here's our final product of pumpkin pasties, and they came out beautifully. So much better than last time, let me tell you. And I'm gonna break it in half. Look at all that wonderful pumpkin. I'm gonna take a bite. And it tastes exactly like a pumpkin pie, but you can take it with you if you need to.